Well, hello and welcome to this episode of the Small and Supercharged podcast. It's a solo with me and we're going to talk about Barbie. Do not turn off. Do not turn off. We're going to talk about Barbie, the Barbie movie, from a marketing point of view because, hand on heart, I think it's been an utter masterclass in marketing. However, they have quite a significant budget, or they had quite a significant budget to spend on the film. So I really wanted to explore what they'd done and how that had worked and how we can perhaps use some things that we've learnt from the movie to think about how we could perhaps make some adjustments to our own marketing and how they've done it, because it is super, super clever. If you're a bit of a nerd like me, you will probably be a little bit obsessed with it. And to be honest, this was actually the reason I went to see the film. Because, spoiler alert, when I was little, I did not like Barbies or Cindy's or anything like that. I was not a doll kind of girl. I liked teddy bears and animal toys. I did not like or appreciate anything like this. And I think if we look back on Barbie's history, it's been quite interesting. And, the whole stereotypes and that perfect sort of hourglass figure and all the things that women can often feel under pressure for in terms of appearance, Barbie can in some ways kind of encapsulate, or does encapsulate. And actually, I went to see the film on Saturday, so I can kind of talk about it from that point of view. Spoiler alert, I'll just say that. But I thought that, I'm not going to give away any major spoilers here, but I thought the way that they addressed that was actually really good. And the whole film's actually very clever. It wasn't what I expected at all. I expected it to be really funny, and I didn't find it that funny, but I found it really, really thought-provoking to the point that, like, a few days later, I'm still thinking about it. And I've, had some kind of chats online with people about it, but not for the reasons that I thought. But we're going to talk about it from a marketing point of view today, because that's where my strengths lie. I did a little bit on the Daily Mirror last week about it and about their marketing efforts. And I don't think there are many people who have not been touched in some way by Barbie. Even my mother-in-law sent me an email the other day, on Saturday actually, with a company that she subscribes to the mailing list of, and how they hadn't used the word Barbie, but they were definitely on that trend with, all this pink stuff that they had. There's been so many things on pink, and gosh, people would turn up to cinemas dressed head to toe in pink. It's been an absolute masterclass in marketing, and how it's infiltrated so many different areas of our lives has been insane, really, but so clever. And there are so many things that we can take on. Some of them have obviously been done on a mega budget. Barbie's Malibu Dream House, that was available on Air BnB for a couple of days. That's clearly got a budget behind it. And actually, from my research, everything I'm seeing, and I don't know if this is true, but it says that Barbie's reported budget for their marketing was 100 million. So that's not insignificant. So we're not going to be looking at all of this and going, yeah, we can do all of this at all. But there's just some really cool things that have happened that I wanted to talk about. I've got a list here of things that I've seen. I'm just going to add another one, actually. Oh, my pen's not working. No, there we go. Things that I've seen that have been done through the kind of machine that is Barbie, or I assume they have. I think another thing I've noticed is that a lot of people are jumping on the kind of Barbie trend. And I think that's really cool. But I think you do have to be a bit careful if you're a brand and I did see one thing, which was insert name of brand, X Barbie, which implies a partnership when there isn't one. So you do have to be aware of this kind of thing. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but you do. But there are some really cool things that I've seen. So one thing that happened, oh gosh, over the weekend. I think on Friday it started. But if into Google you typed Barbie movie, if you typed in Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie, Google went pink and like had sort of little explosions of pink sparkle over it. Super, super cool. I just love the kind of the vibe of that whole thing. It just, again, brings it into focus for so many people because it was such a different visual to usually how Google is. But Google does jump on trends. It jumps on, people's birthdays and things like that. So obviously I don't know the actual arrangements of any of these things. These are just some things I've seen, but I flipping loved that. I also love that people were talking about it all over social. That's just an absolute gem of a thing. That is the whole virality that is going viral when people are just seeing something, telling people, thinking it's so cool that they want to share and tell. Then you're onto something. I loved the Dream House thing. Obviously, that is not for a budget, but I thought it was such a cool way of bringing the concept, that toy, to life and getting people involved with it in different ways. I would be really interested, and I really hope that somebody analyses this, how much, if you were to analyse the kind of the return on investment, the cost of the column inches, how much that would have cost you, what that number would have been for the whole Barbie campaign. Because my strong gut feeling on this is that it would be an incredible return on investment. It would be hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds worth of exposure in loads and loads of different ways. I would love to see that. I want to keep an eye on that because I want to see what people are, what that return on investment is, because that is the thing when we look at advertising spend. And I'm reading a really good book at the moment called The One Page Marketing Plan. I think it's called that. It's really good. And it makes a really good point that when people set a marketing budget, they say, okay, we're going to spend, let's go low, let's say £2,000 on this campaign. Why would you set a budget of £2,000 if that £2,000 you could track it and it generated 10,000? You would want to be putting as much money as possible towards it to keep generating a huge level of return, wouldn't you? So it's that's just a slight segue. You're just listening to my mind rambles today, so apologies for that. But it was just interesting, and I would love to see what the value they're putting on the exposure is, because it's massive. I mean, it's been incredible. I know they've had £100 million, but you could use £100 million, you could use £1,000, you could use £100 in a really obvious way, or you could use it in much more creative ways. And I think that we absolutely have to hand it to these people. The marketing on it has been insane, and they have been creative. So we've got the Malibu Dream House, and that was available on Air BnB for a bit, which was pretty cool. And then the collaborations. This is the thing I think we can all take on as smaller business owners. The collaborations that Barbie has done are incredible and incredibly diverse, and really do go into so many areas of our lives. There have been games, foods, drinks, sofas, handbags, hairbrushes, hair accessories, nail varnishes, makeup, app content, shoes, toothbrushes, clothing, rugs, scents, and even roller skates. So there was a really good, I was doing quite a lot of Googling about this last week to just have a look at all the collaborations. I keep seeing the odd thing pop up. And these are collaborations with, big names, Krispy Kreme, Burger King in Brazil, I think, from what I could understand. But they've really gone all in on this. They haven't just gone, we've just put the name on it. Like, they're going big on the pink. The roller skates are like Barbie and Ken's roller skates in the film. The ones that I've seen are. They have gone really hard on the collaboration, and I love that. I think that is, for a small business, that's a really good lesson to learn, how dedicated they've been to this collaboration. And I think, from the other brand's point of view, initially when this was discussed, it could have been a bit of a risk, because Barbie has got a lot of history behind her. and people's feelings about Barbie. And it was, to be fair, to do with the marketing, about how the perception of that brand was going to integrate into the other brands, and whether or not that was going to generate greater footfall or lesser footfall. Because if you pick someone to collaborate with, we know we always talk, well, I say to people a lot, if you are going to collaborate with a brand, you have to make sure there's an alignment there, and you have to make sure it doesn't repel or upset your current customers, or else in your quest to attract new people, what you're doing is annoying the people that are already your customers. And we know it costs a whole lot less to retain a customer than to find a new one. So there always has to be that line to tread. And Barbie and people's perception of Barbie is controversial. The whole thing is really fascinating, about how it's all working and how it works, and at what point those people went, yeah, we want to work with you, and we feel it's going to add value, add turnover, add exposure to our brand. And that's really interesting. I would love to have seen the whole marketing plan these people collaborated alongside and kind of sold it to them, or the other way around. I would just love to have been a fly on the wall in these discussions, because I think every collaboration I've seen is incredible, and it's so great. And the hype that's been generated around the movie has meant that it hasn't, I think one of the taglines on one of the ads was, if you love Barbie, watch the movie. If you hate Barbie, watch the movie. It was addressing people's issues absolutely head on, and it did that in the film as well. And I think that has really added to it as well. So the collaborations have been amazing. I think they've been really, really good. I think obviously going down the handbags, hair accessories, nail varnish line is very on brand for like a stereotypical Barbie, but also really, really good generally. They had the Barbie filters that came out a while ago when people had this Barbie can, whatever, put in different jobs or projects, things like that. I loved that, and I saw a lot of that in a lot of places, and that was a filter. Now obviously filters cost money to make, I do know that, but when people start promoting your business, your brand, your movie on their own without any incentive from you, that's where the magic happens. That's why people who flag way for your brand and business should be nurtured and should be supported, particularly when they're not getting anything for it, because these are people who believe in what you're doing and are so passionate about what you are doing that they don't even expect money for it. They just want to be part of it. They want to get involved. They're excited by what you're doing. That is magic, and the filter started to do that and do it very, very well as well. We've also had the pink billboards, so the big signs. I don't know where I saw it online, because to be honest, I live in the back end of nowhere. We don't have billboards or ad boards around here. We barely have pavements, so we're not going to get that. But it was just a pink board with a date on it, and I thought, the power of that. There are a few brands that could get away with that. I think Barbie's one, because Barbie pink. I think perhaps Tiffany with their very specific blue. I think maybe Cadbury's with their specific purple. Brands that have invested a lot of time into the other elements of their brand, including things like the colour, could maybe get away with that. But it's a bold move, and I was all for it. But there are brands that are linked to colour. I think Cadbury's is definitely one with that purple, and I think Tiffany is definitely another one as well. But if you put a navy blue and put a date on, well, who would that be talking about? I think the font as well. Barbie's got a specific font that you start to see in places. And one example was the Barbican in London had rebranded itself as the Barbie can. So it still had the can bit on the sign, but then it had Barbie before. Loved that. absolutely love that. It's just, again, little ways of kind of infiltrating people's lives. And I saw it because people were photographing it and sharing it on social media because it was so cool. And then we move through to the film premiere. I'm not saying that this is a definitive list. And if you've seen something else connected to the Barbie film that you think is absolutely genius from a marketing point of view, please let me know. I'm sort of slightly obsessively interested in this. It's insanely good. I've never seen anything like this in the marketing space before. It's so, so good. So I would love to know if you've seen something that I haven't mentioned. Please tell me. So then we move through to the actual premieres, and the whole thing is obviously very, very heavily branded Barbie. It looks like Barbie, it feels like Barbie, and the star of the film, Margot Robbie, is wearing Barbie outfits. Again, the column inches that have been generated from what Margot Robbie is wearing and the interest in what she is wearing has been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, and such a clever thing to do. I'm pretty sure Ken has as well, as in Ryan Gosling. I feel like he has as well, but the one that's really caught me is obviously Margot, because the Barbie outfits are incredible, and she has been wearing them, and I think it's been amazing. I think seeing it kind of, again, it brings it to life. I think the whole film brings it to life, real people being Barbie. But then seeing it on these carpets, I say red carpets, but I would imagine it was a pink carpet. So no, Google that actually, because if it hasn't, and of course, a pink carpet, because a red carpet wouldn't be right. I've just Googled it actually, and there's I can see a lot of pink carpets, which I'm loving, very much so. It's a work of art. I'll be honest, it's an absolute work of art, how they've done it, and I am just in awe of it, and will be captivated by it for some time yet. So I think we need to look at these big campaigns. I think it's really useful to look at these big campaigns and think, okay, well, I don't have £100 million. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But think, well, what can we learn? What useful teaching points are there in this campaign that we can apply to what we're doing? Now, one of them, I think, is the branding side of it, the brand and the power of your brand. I witter on a lot about fonts, colours, things like that actually seem quite basic and boring on one or many levels. But when you see that in action with something like Barbie, it all makes sense. It makes sense having that very specific Barbie font. If that font changed from premiere to premiere and it was all a little bit different, it wouldn't work. It's another way of bringing that cohesion together. The stylized capital letters, particularly the way the B's finish. If you're a bit of a font geek, and hands up, I absolutely am. I love graphic design. It matters. The specific shade of pink. This is not a random pink that someone's thought of. This is a specific shade of pink. From a branding point of view, from a brand cohesion point of view, it's so powerful that actually they've just put that on a billboard. And that's been enough. So the power of the brand and the importance of keeping that brand consistency is something I think we can all learn from this. I think the power of collaborations is something we can learn from this. Going beyond your circle, looking hard, making sure there's still that alignment there, but looking out, looking beyond. And just looking at how, when you do anything, it can really infiltrate people's worlds. That sounds a little bit manipulative, but how it can seep into different areas of their lives. The whole thing is with marketing is it's not just someone sees something once and buys it. It used to be that you needed 7 touch points. I'm sure it was 7. for someone to make a decision, as in a purchasing decision with you. I believe that is more now because we are bombarded with information all the time. But if I think about how many times I've seen something about Barbie online over the last few months, it's been huge. The number's been massive. And getting that social proof in terms of other social media users is also a huge part in that. So looking at how you can get influencers, social media users, fans excited about what you're doing as well. So they go out and they are your cheerleaders and flag wavers because they just want to do it because they are so excited about it. If these people have done it without any incentive. Okay, I'm not against the incentive side because I think depending on what you do, obviously this has been quite a launch. Depending on what you do, it depends on the level of excitement people have got. But there's a lot to learn here about generating that buzz, generating that hype and excitement, and then using that to help spur it on, to help move it forward. It's really cool. It has been a little bit of a masterclass and I have loved it. So I hope that's been a bit of food for thought, really. I'm not saying you should go and see the film, but I'm saying that even if you have been to see the film and you hate it, whether you would never go, look at the things that you can learn from this situation because it has been a marketing effort the likes I have never seen before. And I think that's very exciting, actually. I really do. I think that is super exciting for kind of what's to come. And I've never seen the level of collaborative endeavours as this one. All the way it's just got everywhere. So learn, take things on board and apply them to what you're up to next. You never know. It could be an utter game changer for you. And one little thing before I let you go. My first book, Small and Supercharged, had its first birthday last week. So thank you so much if you have bought the book. If you've bought the book and loved it and left a lovely review, one of my top people. If you bought the book, loved it and haven't left a review, and you think, you know what, I'm going to leave a review because I'd like to be one of her top people, genuinely makes my day. I'd be so grateful if you do that. But thank you so much for all your support, for your kindness, for your cheerleading, for buying the book, for talking about the book. It means a huge amount to me, and I really hope the book has helped you. Obviously, it's still available now. It's still available on Amazon as a paperback book. I like a paperback book. Or Kindle or Kindle Unlimited. If you've got a Amazon Prime subscription, I think you can read it for free, I think. I'm not really great on Kindle Unlimited, I'll be honest with you, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But a huge thank you. Happy birthday, little book. Hopefully we've got some exciting things to come in the not too distant future, which I will be absolutely taking you along on the ride with, everything crossed with a prevailing wind in my direction. But I wanted to have a little thing about the book because it is Happy Birthday book. I should have done it last week, but it was an interview last week and yeah. But anyway, a huge thank you for all your support with the book. And if you think, you know what is this book? It's called Small and Supercharged. Small steps to supercharge your brand on a budget. So we don't have to have that £100 million marketing budget, $100 million, marketing budget. You can have zilcho to utilise this book and its marketing methods and its promotional methods and lots of different things as well. There's lots of chapters, but all of them have got nuggets you can take away and apply for no money at all. So I would love you to do that. And if you have had some success with it, and I know people have because you have kindly messaged me and that's awesome, please do let me know because I would love to see what people are up to or if it helped to spark an idea. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Have a brilliant week, or if you've just started the summer holidays, good luck with that. I'm feeling it too. We're all in this together. It's going to be fine. Have a good one. Take care and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.